Well, we had a fantastic trip to England last year. We shipped our Jeeps from California to Southampton, England, and spent about 2 weeks driving around the English countryside, visiting historical sites and museums. And it's been about a year. Clarissa B was shipped back in October last year, so it's almost been a year, and I'm finally getting time to put a video together. So this is going to be part one of our video. I'm going to have two parts, so I'll show you what we've been up to.
The first order of business was to load the Jeeps up with tools, spare parts, clothing, and then drop them off at the shipper to be loaded into containers for its voyage to Southampton, England. We arrived in Southampton and had a day to tour around before we had to go pick up the Jeeps. By the evening, the rest of the group had arrived and we all met for dinner. A few of the Jeeps had trouble starting because of low batteries or other issues, but we eventually got them all started and off to our adventure. After all the preparation, we were finally on our way to our adventure. But first, we had to get used to driving on the left side of the road. Our first stop was to meet our friend Lloyd for lunch at an old English pub near Exeter. After lunch, we drove down the coast to Tor Bay and the little fishing villages of Torquay and Brixham. In Brixham, our friend Lloyd had arranged for a historian to give us a little talk about the Brixham slipways. The Brixham slipway is one of the only surviving original World War II loading ramp where ships were loaded for D-Day.
So we're still lucky. We've got the biggest slipway still existing. They built these all along the south coast of the UK, and we've still got the best preserved one. So ships came in here, and they loaded all those with the troops and the trucks and the supplies. Were all loaded into them.
I didn't really well.
After visiting the slipway, we headed to our Airbnb. We were off to a good start, but it was a long day. We put in about 12 hours and put about 250 miles on the Jeeps. The next day, we were off to an early start, heading to the Pottery airfield where the 101st Airborne took off for their flight to Normandy on D-Day. We started our tour at the Pottery Nissen Hut Heritage Center. There were Quonset huts from World War II, and one of them held a museum focusing on a pottery airfield's role in D-Day. There was a group of American students touring the airfield while we were there that day.
That's what I should put on.
The museum docent gave a talk on the role of the airfields in England during World War II. After the museum tour, we drove our Jeeps to the airfield and were able to drive on the runway that the planes used to take off for Normandy on D-Day.
Take a picture of this, guys.
The airfield was built between 1943 and finished in January-February 1944. It was built by a British company called WWII & Co, who built over 90 airfields and were a civil engineering contractor, and they are now known in the UK as Taylor Wimpey. So on the night of the 5th of June, just over there in front of where the yellow cat tractor was a hangar, and that's where the 101st M planes got their kit, and they were kitting up between 6 o'clock at night and 7:30 at night where they loaded. But we know at other airfields they were taking off one every 10 seconds. And 90 aircraft took off from Greenham within 16 minutes. And they took off here via V's. So you can just imagine what it was like. 11:13 p.m. British double summertime, which is around about 10:30 our time today. And the aircraft took off, formed into a circle, circled the airfield, and then headed that way to North Portlandville and Normandy.
After a tour of the airfield, we went to the village of Up Pottery and a beautiful old pub for lunch.
Yesterday they put their Jeeps up. Right now you put the Jeeps up in Southampton.
After the tour of the airfield, we drove to Joe's Motor Pool, which is a manufacturer of vintage Jeep parts. We toured their warehouse and factory there.
Sure it's not the heat coming up from the droids working down below? The droids.
After touring the warehouse and factory, we drove to their other facility, which is a World War II Jeep restoration shop. It was another great day out touring in the Jeeps, but it was a long day, and it rained on our way back to the Airbnb. That way?
Yeah.
Day 4, we were heading off to the Bovington Tank Museum.
We're on day 3 and we're heading to the Tank Museum.
Yeah, the famous Bovington Tank Museum.
We spent the entire day at the Bovington Tank Museum, then headed back to Long Sutton where our Airbnb was. We had plans to meet local military vehicle collectors at a restaurant for dinner. Day 4, we loaded up the Jeeps and checked out of our Airbnb in Long Sutton and headed towards Hampshire. We stopped in a little village on the way called Devonshire and toured that little village and had breakfast. After breakfast, we stopped at the Fleet Air Arm Museum. Then we were back on the road on our way to Hampshire. Along the way, we noticed curious markings on the hillside and later learned that they were made by soldiers during World War I that were staged there to be shipped off to France.
This is a really cute town.
It's a little different because it's got different colored buildings and
Yeah.
different. Ooh, the Roseburg.
We settled into our second Airbnb, and the next day we visited the Royal Submarine Museum in Gosport.
Is that the one that they pulled out of the mud?
Yeah. Oh, this one?
No,
The monitor.
No, it was sunk.
Huge iron stove that they would feed wood in.
Yeah, it looks like it. Or yeah, he did say that
So friggin'
the batteries were underneath in the mid deck, so maybe
That's
that
all the batteries back there.
charged the
kids
batteries.
went to a school thing.
After touring the Submarine Museum, we took a ferry across the harbor to the Portsmouth Historic Docks. And while we were there, we took a tour of the harbor in an old landing craft.
Oh, there's a
Day 5, we attended the Overlord show, which is a military vehicle and reenactor show. Back in the States, we had applied as participants with our World War II Jeeps, and it was requested that we wore period-correct clothing.
So, they then reverse the gun, or cast them out, and pour the rest of the powder, screw the paper up, and the ball goes down the barrel. Reload. Stand by, everyone.
Fingers in the ears.
Millions of men have built up. German seen not the trainers lying down. Mortars being deployed. Desperate to take out some of the Axis riflemen. Advance. This is the support that the beleaguered British needed for so long in their battle zone. Two half-tracks fire in, giving additional support. The battle intensifies.
Pretty much, yeah. Open couple.
They sure are good at their dioramas. Well, yeah, he could tuck himself in it. Deutschland, Deutschland, über alles, über alles, an
We spent the entire day at the show, then stopped at a pub on the way back to the Airbnb for dinner.